today they jerseys got to be tucked in. I was trying to show my abs.
Yes, this is exactly what I remember about Warrick Dunn.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. And with me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Roman Corduroy Harper.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know on TV right now through the screen, it may look like velvet, but it is corduroy.
That's what I said.
I know. I appreciate the intro.
Why corduroy?
Because I just hosted a fashion show, and it's a little too hot for it, but I still like to look good. And feel good, look good, play good, and that's what I did out there. I killed it. I killed it, Peanut. I did my thing.
There you go.
I went off the notes, I freestyled, and I crushed it. And you know what? This interview is about to be a crush too, because this is one of my favorite people of all time. I watched this man growing up, wearing number 28 on the field. He always had the back flap out in college. He had the yellow mouthpiece.
Yeah.
He was a smaller running back, undersized guy, but this dude, all he did was kill it. And I'm so excited to talk to this man. I'm so excited to have him here. And he's also a native of this state of Louisiana. Go ahead, Peanut.
He is a 12-year NFL vet, 3-time Pro Bowler, member of the Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. And he's my brother, and we in our own separate fraternity.
That is true. Walter Payton, Man of the Year.
Walter Payton, Man of the Year winner. And he is the founder of Warrick Dunn Charities. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pod, Mr. Warrick Dunn.
Yes.
You know what? I appreciate you guys having me. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all funny. Y'all funny.
Stop. Look, speaking of styling, look, he got the handkerchief, he got the tie.
He made me feel like I was just okay.
I feel like I'm underdressed
you're
right
totally
now.
underdressed.
Yeah,
you're
underdressed
cool.
right now. Let's just
That's
get that.
all right. I like the deacon suit though. It's cool.
Yeah, man. Warrick, man, tell me how much pride you take in being a Florida State Seminole, because when you guys were there, you made kids like me want to be a Florida State Seminole. I don't know if everybody grows up wanting to be a Florida State Seminole now, but when I was growing up, I wanted to be just like you. I wanted to have my back flap out. I wanted to have the yellow mouthpiece, and I wanted the little Noel checks or whatever. What do you call them? The decals that go on the top.
On the top. So if you have a good game of making certain plays, you would get the decals up there. So every guy was always trying to, who can get the most?
Yes.
Right? So that was like a motivating thing to who's going to be consistent, who's going to play well on a consistent basis, who's going to go out and make plays. So it was fun. But, being a Seminole, I mean, for me, because when I came in, Coach Bowden, they recruited me to play defensive back. And I made a deal with Coach Bowden. I said, Coach, I want to come, but I want to play running back. If you give me an opportunity to play running back, and if it doesn't work out, I'll move to defensive back. And he believed enough in me he gave me that opportunity. And, after that first week of busting long runs on the first team defense and those things, they never even thought about moving me to defensive back. So Mickey Andrews he's still mad with me today because I never played defensive back at Florida State. But, just having like Coach Bowden, just being a part of like that family, because the way that he coached us, he pushed us, but he challenged us, and he took us to a Catholic church, went to a Baptist church, and said, "Listen, on Saturdays, we all play as one. The background doesn't matter, where you're from. We have to play together as one." And the way that he tried to lead us and motivate us and really encourage us and challenge us all the time. And for me, that was everything of being a no. I mean, that's the type of coach that you want, who's going to push you to always be the best that you can be.
Yeah.
And he was just a great individual like that.
About 15 years ago, you acquired ownership in the Atlanta Falcons. Could you maybe discuss about how that came about, how that opportunity came about, and how you approached it?
My last year in Atlanta, before they cut me, I was on the practice field. We were at practice, and Mr. Blank was like, because I was getting towards the end of my career, he just asked me, "So what are you going to do after football? You want to coach? You want to?" So I was like, no, I want to be up there with you. And I just pointed up. And, I guess he took that. And then once I got released, he mentioned on the call, just like, "Hey, I'm sorry that I know this was a part of the business or whatever. And he said, but whenever you're finished with this game, I would love to call you a partner. And I honestly had no idea what that meant because I was like, I'm getting cut. Oh my God, I'm being released. But I did talk to him. I built a relationship with him. And when I got released in Tampa the following year, he reached out to me and just like, hey, what are you going to do? I mean, I would love to, call you a partner. And I mean, I had like 3 meetings with him and he cooked me dinner at his home. Yeah. He cooked dinner. It's like, hey, come on over. Let's talk about it. And he had 3 meetings with me. And after the 3rd time, I was like, okay, I'm going to go and see what I can do. Because I wasn't the highest paid player in my position. I mean, everything that I made, I gave a lot back to the nonprofit, but, I was just trying to maximize it, hold on to it. So I had a meeting with my financial advisor and I said, hey, what do you think about this or that? And it's like, okay, I said, well, let's try to make something happen. And then I called Mr. Blank, said, okay, I'll do it. And, I invested and, the rest has been history. And I've just been really low key about it. I didn't go out telling anybody. I mean, I became a partner in 2009 and, it's been a blessing. It's been pretty cool.
We were somewhere, it might have been one of the Man of the Year events, and you and we started talking. I had come to find out that you were a minority owner, and I was like, yo, that's dope. I ended up calling my agent and was like, I want to buy a stock. I want to be a minority owner. Problem is, I don't think they wanted me to be a partner. it was like, I just think that's so cool that you got a little bit of stock in that, and because I swear, and I've never told you this, but as soon as you told me that, I went back and I researched and I tried to do it. Yeah. I was trying to be a minority owner of an NBA team, an NFL team. Like I tried. Now I couldn't come up with the capital of what that number was after I saw it, even to get 1%, but just you planted a seed in me and you made me think about just wanting to be in that business, in that space. So I was just like, so thank you for that. That was awesome.
Yeah. But if you think about it, I mean, the way that we have to approach investing, everybody wants to try to get the max. It's just like, sometimes you put a little bit in and that grows, right? I mean, everybody, you want a certain percentage, but sometimes it's in certain situations, it's you do enough that you're comfortable and then you let it grow. You're part of it. You're invested in it. It's just like any stock. You're going to put enough in there for hopefully the stock grows. The difference is when you're ownership in a pro team, that's going to grow over the course of a year. So that's like a really good investment. So I would tell people, stop focus on, trying to put whatever 20, 30 million, whatever in, you put money in, it's going to grow for you. And the thing is, you can't worry about, I'm going to get the money out next week or in a year. It's going to take time. That's an investment that you have to sit there and be patient with and just watch it grow. And you reap the benefits when they sell the team.
I just think it's smart, man. And applaud Mr. Arthur Blank too for being receptive and be like, you know what? I'd love to have you as a partner. Because a lot of owners you're not going to get that answer.
Oh, all day.
And so
right.
I think that was, let's give him some credit too for loving on you and being there and just say, hey, like, no, I'd love to call you a partner, like, and being receptive to that.
He's amazing. I'm going to be honest. He's, I've learned a lot business from him, just how he is and everything, it's relationships, right? I built a relationship where he trusts me and I called him at any time while I was there and just talk to him about it. I go to his home and, just catch up. So I built a relationship where he was comfortable with me, but he also knew that my passion just wasn't on the field. It was off the field. He supported me in that way. So he understood like the big picture and he presented an opportunity to me that you can't, that's hard to turn down. But the thing is, he had 3 meetings with me. I wasn't convinced the first time around. I was like, this is a lot. I'm not the highest paid player at Sunset. But after talking with him and just really thinking about not today, but the future, that next, basically we talk about generational wealth.
Yes.
That's what he was pushing me down that road. And I'm just thankful that we had 3 meetings and he got to a point that, hey, this is something I think you should do. It's beneficial, not just for today, but for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone say a negative thing.
No, he's a great human being.
I've heard nothing but positive things. So you call him Mr. Blank? You call him Arth? What'd you call him? Hey, Artie?
No,
go make me some eggs, Artie. What you call him?
I still call him Mr. Blank, but I also call him Pops. I viewed him as a father figure to me because of the relationship that we had. And he's given me business advice. He's really been there, and I've learned a lot just by, sitting back and watching him, right? If I call him up, I can ask him any question and he would give me he's going to shoot me straight. This is what I think you should do. Or this is what I would do in that situation. I mean, that's all. It's just mad respect. And, I would do anything for him. If he called me, I would, bend over backwards, do anything for him. And I think that's vice versa as well.
Now, the one thing that we all are very much so know about the work you do with your charities and through your foundation, rebuilding homes. How many times have you done this? So let's look at the stats here. So through your Warrick Dunn charities, you fully furnished 235 homes.
236.
236.
You must have just did one.
30 markets served. All right. 600 plus dependent families served. 92% of the families remain in the homes that you have helped them get into, fully furnished, that they have remained in there. And I want you to dive into that more because I think that's the real piece.
Well, yeah, I was going to say 92%, they may have sold their home and bought another home, right? And, to dive into that a little bit more, I've had a recipient that sold her home, she bought another home, then her son bought his first home. So now you've seen it generations where it's been beneficial. And a lot of the positive things that come from homeownership is that kids are much more confident. They perform better in school. They're much more engaged in their community. And it's just long-term, what you're doing is you're teaching them about, the responsibilities. And now homeownership is first part of building that generational wealth. Obviously, it takes generations to do that. And families don't realize that, that net worth until the home is sold. But you're building the foundation that this is home and we can always come back. Oh, we broke an arm. I mean, I know we bust windows. We was planning the house, bust windows, broke arms, legs, all those things. Place they can come back and have these memories that you have forever. I mean, and that's the most important thing.
How'd that make you feel though when you found out that mom, you gave her the home, she bought a home, sold a home, bought another home, and then her son bought his own home? When you found that news out, how did you feel?
For me, it was like, wow. I mean, that's what it's about. That's how it's supposed to be, right? And she's a good mother. I mean, she calls me. I have relationships with a lot of them because, hey, you call me if you need anything. Call me if I can help. She has her own little nickname that she calls me, but she is just a really nice person that works hard, that's doing her part. And she's led by example, right? She's shown her son, this is the steps that you need to take. And now he's bought his first home. So it's definitely been a blessing. But I just think, it's those little things that we can help people and teach them and point them in the right direction. And that's why I have Homes for the Holidays, but then now I have Scope, overall brand of health and wellness, where we're trying to bring in health is your wealth. It's the physical part where you work out, biometrics, cook quick and healthy meals, frugal chef in the house, but now you're growing vegetables in your backyard. Then I have financial health, where count on your future. If you invest in yourself, we will invest in you to help you start a savings account. And I always stress needs versus wants, because that's how I grew up at 18 years old. Being financially responsible, I had to focus on the things that we needed, not necessarily things that we want. But then also now mental health, and that program's called Betty's Hope, where it's trying to help families that with stability, just in everyday life, because today kids they respond to trauma a lot different. They don't go through the adversity that we went through coming up.
Yeah. Do you think that's one of the reasons, like everything that you've just listed, do you feel that that's one of those resources that you're providing? That's how you've kept the families inside the home, like the financial literacy, learning how to take care of your mental health and not getting burnt out, but just knowing how to communicate the right way, having the emotional intelligence to talk to your kids, to speak to your kids, to pour into your kids.
Well, it's what I've experienced growing up, right? So everything that I do, I've had experience. I've had to go through that. I've had to do it myself. I mean, I've been to counseling, and surprisingly, I didn't go to counseling until 10 years after my mom's death. So just think, I didn't hang out in college. I was school, practice, back at the dorm. On the off weekends, I was in Baton Rouge. I drove all the time home. In the summertime, I was at home all the time. I went to summer school at Southern and LSU, and took classes there.
I did not know this. No,
so
I don't think anybody knows about Warrick Dunn.
You a Tiger?
Well, no, I just took summer classes. So I was just
Tiger.
Yeah, well, I'm also a Jag too. I'm a Jag as well.
Okay, HBCU.
Yeah, hey, but I was at home, but I also said, hey, I'm a maximizer and at least take a class so I could still be here. I worked out 3 times a day. I just did everything that I needed to do to make sure. So everything that I pass on with the programs that we do, it relates to me because it was a part of my journey. And the way that I grew up, my grandmother was hard on me. My mom was hard on me. My father figure, because my dad wasn't in my life. I had another individual. His name is Malin Brooks. He passed away 2 years ago on Mother's Day. This will be the 3rd year, but I met him when I was 9 years old, and he had been in my life forever. And he whooped me on the football field, taught me all these things, but he also helped my mom a lot because I got it from a male perspective that these are the things I need to do while I'm at home, and I need to take care of the kids. And listen, I was taking care of kids 12 years old, cooking, cleaning, making sure everybody did homework, take a bath, they ate, and I learned to cook at an early age because when you don't have anything in them cabinets, what you do? I just went in, had tuna fish, we had tuna casserole, whatever, and we just mixed whatever was in the cabinets. We made a little casserole right there and they ate, boom. I mean, we were surviving, and that's what it was. So everything that I do nonprofit wise, I've been there and done it. So that makes me much more passionate about that. If I can do it, I know they could do it. The difference is we have to push the kids to understand that we all going to fall down. How are you going to get back up? Because how we respond to adversity, everybody's going to respond differently, but how do you get back up and take the next steps? But just know it's not going to be easy. The pathway is not going to be easy for nobody.
That's deep.
I just think Warrick's story is so unique. And what I've picked up and listened to you is that, and I say this a lot of times, and I learned this from somebody else, that once you're affected by something, you'll become an advocate for it.
Right.
And your childhood traumas where you lost your mother, she was a police officer that was killed, and you took over and you took care of your family. You were the father figure or the parent as a young person, even in school, in college. And this is why everybody has been such a big fan of you and who you are as a character. And so when we hear all these stories, and that's why you can tell me it's not 235 homes, it's 236. Because you truly have been through these, and like you are truly the person that is being an advocate for all these things. Like you are really cleaning up and changing lives, and you have not allowed your past traumas to continue to do that, to affect your tomorrows. And how do you do that? Like, how do you genuinely continue to just like, well, it's just what I've had to do?
I appreciate that. And the thing is, I'm not looking for attention, right? Because my intentions is not to get all the notoriety. I just like the things that I do. I just like to help people. I just want to see us have a, better society, healthier society. I want, the pathway, to be simple and not always easy, because we are going to have challenges, but I want to be able to help people on their journey. And for me, it's when I lost my mom, the city of Baton Rouge, they wrapped their arms around us. And they showed me what it means to care about your neighbor, your community. And from that, I've just taken what I've seen. And growing up, my grandmother, I had people, somebody sleeping in the house. We're like, who is this? Oh, this is somebody off, they need a place to stay. I saw it firsthand from my grandmother, how she gave and how, the sacrifices she made. And, my mom, the type of police officer she was, is that she was working at a store, off duty, working an extra job at a store. And when guys come up, she's like, I don't want to take you to jail. Come on, do the right thing.
Yeah.
It's like she's giving people opportunities. She wasn't like, oh, you going to jail if you don't, such and such. So she really cared about her community. She gave back and she helped people. And so I had examples early on, the proper way to go. And I'm thankful for that, because that has helped me along my journey. And I had great leaders, like I was talking about Choo Choo, my father figure. Mm-hmm. He challenged me to be the best that I can be. That's why in football, I'm the smallest guy out there. I went to Florida State, I was 150 some pounds. But I did not play that way. I wasn't made that way. I was just like, you know what? You said I'm not good enough. I'm gonna show you I'm good enough. That's why I worked out 3 times a day. That's why I did the things that I did, because on my shoulder, I was always about, I have to prove to X, Y, and Z that I can do it. And just think, when I was playing professional, my second game in Tampa, we playing the Lions up north. I had like over 20 carries, and I scored my first professional touchdown. On the plane, Coach Dungy's we're flying back, we won the game. He keeps looking back at me. It's like, I'm just like, Coach, what's the problem? What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm just worried. I said, Coach, I'm fine. I do this all the time. Because he thought I took too many hits.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I do this all the time. And then it took a couple years later that Mike Allstott gets injured, and then I come in and like 9 games to rush for 1,000 yards. He didn't question me after that. Can I take the pounding? Can I do it? But it was the work ethic, the commitment in me that I'm going to show you. And that's how I take from what on the football field to everything I do in my life. I do that. And, I don't know anything else. That's just how I was raised. Because from first started playing football at 7 years old, I was the last kid picked. But I'm going to show you I can play. I was the first kid picked after, we just played tackle football in the streets. We did some things, but I was just a rebel all the time. Like, you told me I couldn't do it, I'm going to show you.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I remember tackling you early on in my career. And because I watched you, I've seen you play so big, I was surprised that when I hit you, how light you felt. Like, man, he really isn't like 300 pounds. You know what I mean? He's not a 220-pound running back. No. Like, even though I imagine you that in my own eyes.
Right, yeah.
Because you've always played so big. Then I was like, okay. He is what they say in the book.
Well, I would say, too, is that I also learned I can make it look like you knocked me out, but it didn't hurt me at all. You hit me, I'm going to go with, I never tried to fight the hit. You always go with it. Because I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to live for the next down. I'm not going to try to run over somebody or this or that. No, you can hit me. You try to take me out. I'm going to go with it. Boom. It may look crazy, but I'm going to get up for the next play. That was my mantra. And the other thing I would say is too, is that earlier you mentioned about, like during my playing career, my second year in the league, my brothers and sisters weren't doing well in school. I just won Rookie of the Year in Tampa. That next year, I moved the youngest 3 in with me. And then, I was going to PTA meetings. I was helping, going to support them because my brothers that play football, running track and all that, basketball. I was doing all that stuff, wasn't even hanging out with teammates, anything. I was dropping them off at school, go to the facility, practice, and I had to go pick them up, this or that. I was doing all of that, right? And Coach Dungy's wife helped me a little bit too, because she attended meetings with me, but family has always been first, right? Always. That's always. And I mean, I'm going to sacrifice some things.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to get the things I need to get done so that I can make sure that I take care of my family. And that was the commitment that I made after now my mom's not there anymore. I have to be the one that they rely on.
Yeah.
I was like their father. I'm their big brother. That's why, how I am, that I'm very direct. I'll tell you, you're right or wrong. I'm going to be very direct. That's how my mom was. My grandmother's that way. So I learned from them on how to be. And I think that has just instilled some things that I'm a part of that generation before me, how they were parenting back in the day.
Yeah. So I know one of your goals, you spoke about wanting to end generational poverty.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that's going?
Well, homeownership starts with that, because you build a foundation, and I try to tell them this is the first step. But now I brought in the support services that also now gives them tools and resources that now they can rely on. They still have to do their part, right? I could bring this stuff to you, but if you don't participate and be open and understand what I'm trying to bring to the table, because, a lot of communities, they don't financially, what they're doing, they eating out all weekend. Nobody's cooking. How much money are you spending eating fast food, right? Just think how healthy, a lifestyle that you can have if you're actually cooking meals at home. You're going to save money. Go to the grocery store, eat leftovers. I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? I mean, just think about all of those things. But when we're talking about, hey, I like, fancy things and such, it's like, does that stuff really should even matter to you? Right? Because it's the memories that we make together. So I'm really more about, let's create experiences. Let's do things that create memories so we have those things to hold on to. Because in my situation, not having my mom, that's all I can gravitate to is those memories. So now I stress that with families, like material things, it don't make you a better person,
mm-hmm.
right? That's material. Said, kids growing up wearing expensive shoes, you grow out of that stuff just like that. Why even waste money on that? Right? It's just trying to get them to have a different mindset. And I said, stop thinking about today. Think about the next 20, 30 years of your life. How do you want to live? And that's the mindset I had, where I was thinking about the next 20, 30 years of my life. In the position, how can I help my brothers and sisters be the best they can be?
You're giving them a community. When you bring in all these social services, you're bringing in other pieces to the pot. You're not just like, okay, here where you're at, you can live here, new computer, new house, and here we go, some keys, and you go. You try and bring the other attributes to what a true community, when you lean on each other, is for these people. How have you continued to develop that? How did that come about?
Yeah, well, I tell them whenever I help a family, I say, you're a part of the WDC family. So now you need anything, all you got to do is reach out. We're going to have programs that you can participate in, but it's really on you as the individual doing your part. Because I learned from my experience that if I don't invest myself, someone else can want something for me. And what is that going to do? If they want it more than I do, that's not beneficial. So I provide. I say, you have to do your part. I'm not going to give you anything. It's not a handout. It's a hand up.
Right. You
have to do your part.
Love that quote.
I came up with that quote. You know that, right?
No, I read it in his bio when he was talking about
I came up with
what
that.
he does is that we don't give a handout, we give a hand up. I wrote that here.
I made that. I told him that. And
then I could have sworn it was under Warrick Dunn.
No,
not
I
Peanut Tillman.
I told him that, and then I also did once you experience something, you're an advocate for it. I told you that too.
Well, once you're affected by something,
yep, change it up just now. I changed it up just now.
It's the 2 A's.
Yep. If they could give out the Walter Payton Man of the Year award like multiple times, I think you would win it every year. Am I lying?
You're not wrong.
I am not wrong. Like,
I've heard about his foundation.
Like, you'd probably have. You'd be like the only guy to win it like 5 times.
His foundation has done so much.
Yeah,
and we've all heard about it because of all the great works, and then also what some of these children and kids have been able to do after that as well. So you've helped generations, and we all recognize it. And then we want to give you kudos for that. I want to give you kudos for giving the Packers their very first loss in the playoffs.
Well,
in 2002. Green Bay had never lost a home. What was that atmosphere like? What was that experience like? Because that was the young Mike Vick days as well. Yeah. So everybody was excited about that, but you played a large part in that. You had over 100 yards total offense. You had 64 on the ground, 4 catches for 40 yards. So, man, what was that like? And going into Lambeau, giving them their very first playoff loss.
It was fun just because, being in Tampa, I used to always go to Lambeau all the time and play them, at least once a year. But now with the importance of the game, the height of it, playoff game on the road, I mean, it was just great to go. And I love to play on the road.
I love winning on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah, because
there's no better feeling.
I mean, you go there and you make a play, you can't, what, huh?
Quality church mouse.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. But it was fun. I mean, we came together, right? Like you said, at 64 and 40, the thing is, I was just trying to be a dual threat, and I was trying to do my part. Mike, obviously, explosive player, this or that, but we had such a good balanced team, so we could run it and we could throw it. And it was just, what are we going to utilize? But our defense played at such a level that, I think it took people by surprise of how good our defense was. Mm-hmm. So it was a blessing. And for me to be able to say I beat the Green Bay Packers on the road, in
their stadium.
Yeah, in their stadium, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Oh, all day.
You've been through a lot, and it doesn't seem like you get rattled. You seem like you're calm in the chaos.
I do. I don't think he even gets mad.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else, but I'll wait. But you just like, you're calm in chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was your welcome to the NFL moment? Like, what once you got to the league, like, what shook you?
Well, I can't say anything really shook me, because I know in Tampa, my rookie year, being hazed, back in the day, we were getting hazed.
It was real hazing.
Yeah, it was
real
real
NFL hazing.
And the coaches were like, everybody else did it too.
Yeah.
You're fine. This is what everybody does.
Well, I think, understanding that, I had to do this just so that I can, getting Warren Sapp's good favor, all those things. So it was, you adjust, right? And I adjusted to the fact that, hey, as a rookie, I'm responsible for these things. And because I had responsibility off the field,
mm-hmm.
they didn't really affect me that much. It just became, okay, this is what I got to do. I'm gonna do what I have to do. So I wasn't necessarily phased. I didn't want to be bullied in a sense. And, Sapp, he, and I'm always say Sapp because he different. I love him to death, but he was different. But he was one of those guys that, hey, you're a rookie, X, Y, and Z. This is what you got. I need to do and need to make it happen. Yes, sir.
He might be the first one.
I know. This
that
is
did
the most...
not have a welcome to the...
this is the most Warrick Dunn answer for welcome to the NFL.
And he was so chill about it, too. He was just like, all right, this is what I got to do. I got to pay homage to it. I
would not say I was...
royalties.
I would like to know what you consider your highlight play. Like, if I could have one game that encapsulates Warrick Dunn, and I can show it to my son, like, this is the one. What game would that be, and how was that performance? And I'll go watch it, but I just would love to know what your answer would be to that.
That is a good one. because it's a lot of games.
Yeah, no. Like, I grew up watching you big time.
I would probably say one of the most exciting things is that when I was in Tampa, we played that Monday night game against the Rams. Mm-hmm. And something that I would never, ever do is that towards the end of the game, one of the last plays is that I took off from the 4-yard line and dove into the end zone. Mm. Yeah, I don't ever leave my feet at all. But on that, for some reason, I took off from the 4, dove in, scored the touchdown to help us win the game that night. And that was the year after that. We didn't have a catch to go to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game against the Rams. So the year later, we had played them in Tampa, and that was a good game. I mean, I can name all kind of plays that, I'm not trying to get hit. I'm not trying to, no, you're not going to hit me, this or that. And I was trying to make guys miss when I rushed for 200 my first time ever against the Cowboys. And I was just like, no, you're not. I don't want to get touched today. So it's just, it's a lot of games that I can probably bring up. But that one comes to mind is that Monday night game. And it was an intense game. And I remember Sean King threw me the ball and I was been spun around and I pitched the ball back to him and he took it and ran for a first down. And then later on, he pitched me the ball and I took off from the 4-yard line and dove into the end zone. And I never leave my feet. I'm only 180 pounds. Right? Why am I going to leave my feet? They just knock me.
Yeah, you just go keep going like in the wind.
Yeah. But
you got one you got to play?
No, I don't. But, it's been like games where you just feel like you're in the zone. Like your eyes are just right.
Yeah.
You see everything. Like when I think it's run, I'm anticipating run, it's run. So like I guess stuff like that happens and very rarely, but you get in the zone.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I remember when we were in a playoff game in Atlanta playing the Rams and I rushed for, I was making people miss and you see me, and I would shook and walk into the end zone. Yeah. I wasn't getting hit. It's like, oh my God. But then they take me out the game because I could have rushed for over 200 yards, plus, but we were beating them bad, I guess. So it is what it is. Those games happen. And it's always something that one of those long runs. Yeah. And I remember early in my Atlanta days, we played the Steelers and I bust a tackle and ran up the sideline and I ran him to the end zone. So it's just like plays that I made over the years you think about and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I was running for my life. That's what it's
at 180 pounds, running for his life. He just wanted to get, that was his motivation. I just want to get hit today. You ain't hit me today.
Yeah, when you hit me, I'm going to go
for 200.
I'm just going to go with it.
Or I get down in a fetal position. I would ball up, so you're not going to get the big hit. I would crunch up and get in the fetal position.
What was the hardest hit you ever took?
The ground.
Nobody ever gave you the business. No. Were you just like, damn, Ray Lewis got me on that one, or just somebody, nobody?
No. He said no, Peter.
No?
Nope. I love this. No.
I'm trying to convince him, but he's just like, no. He shut it down.
No, I wouldn't give anybody any credit like that anyway. Why? Because again, if you hit me, I'm going to go with it. I wasn't going to fight it, right?
He just go,
But I remember, I don't want to call him out. I was.
We'll just say a player.
Yeah, well, player. Yeah, he played linebacker. He tried to hit me when I was going out of bounds, and he dove at me, and I still dodged him. And I just screamed his name. Hey! He was like, so we still talk about that today. We still talk about that.
Did it shake your confidence at all that you could play in the NFL? The fact that Charlie Ward won a Heisman and then would not play in the NFL. As great as he was in college, and you sharing that backfield with him, you saw it firsthand, and you were considered a small guy too. Did that ever shake your confidence? Because Charlie Ward was it, but he had to go play basketball.
Well, no, it didn't shake my confidence, but I also knew why, because at that time, a quarterback of his caliber, the athleticism, the type of, what he brings to the table, they were still more of, I need straight drop back quarterback. I mean, he was a guy who was ahead of the Vicks and the McNabbs and those things, right? And he was just like, listen, he won the Heisman. It's like, if you're going to draft me, you need to draft me in the first round. Because if you're telling me I won the Heisman, the best quarterback, you should draft me early. If not, I'm going to go and play basketball. And I don't think he has any regrets. He went on and had a long time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had a great basketball career, right? Yeah. So you telling me a guy that talented on the football field, I mean, if it wasn't downfield, he made some things happen. He ran. He was doing those things before McNabbs and Vicks and those things. I mean, he was special.
Shout out to Charlie Ward for betting on himself.
Well, he like won. He played a long time in basketball, right? He didn't have to play football and get hit and beat up and all that stuff. So.
But it just kind of goes to show, we were talking to Warren Moon a little earlier, a couple of days ago, and he basically said that, he had to go to Canada to play because they didn't like his style of play. And then when he came here, he just had to really show him, like, no, I can do this. Like, I'm not going to change. You're not going to change my position. I don't want to be a running back or a receiver or a DB. I'm a quarterback and I can play this position. I'm smart enough to do it at this level, even though I've been in Canada and I won 5 Grey Cups. That's not enough. Like, I can do this, So yeah, shout out to Charlie Ward for just picking himself.
But I had that same mentality, is that I'm not big enough.
Yeah.
I was drafted at 170 some pounds. I'm not big enough, supposedly, to play running back in the National Football League. But you know what? I'm going to show you I can. And I just worked every opportunity that I got.
Yeah.
I was going to show you that I can run inside. I can block the Kevin Greens, Reggie Whites of the world, because I had to play against those guys.
Yeah.
And I did the things I had to do to show up, every week. And once I got my opportunity to be the guy, get the ball, I showed you.
All right. I'm giving you 4 picks.
4 picks.
Your Mount Rushmore of personal growth, of people that have helped you, nurtured you, loved you, just planted seeds in your life that help you get to where you are today right now. If you have 4 people to pick from or put on this Mount Rushmore, who would those 4 people be? I'm
going to start off one. My mom, right? My grandmother, my father figure, Malin Brooks, his nickname was Choo Choo.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th one, it's hard to say because I had influential individuals, like a Bobby Bowden and Coach Dungy, that I took what they gave me and, I tried to use it to, my advantage to help me, So I think Coach Bowden, Coach Dungy, and then, when I met Mr. Blank, he really helped me shoot up. So, they would have their own little portion.
You can put the 3 of them on one.
Yeah, they will have their own little portions. And being a freshman at Florida State, having Charlie Ward, because this is someone that when I was in the room, emotional, crying, having a bad day, he never judged me. He sat there and he listened to me, gave me advice, and someone that I just trusted, that, we had these deep conversations about family and everything else of what I was missing. And, you can't, those people at that right time in my life, they were there for me, that supported me during those important years. Because I could have easily been distracted and gone down the wrong way and not cared about anybody. But because I had all of those individuals in my life at that time that really, they kept the eye on me. And even when I left Florida State, Coach Bowden was still there, right? And go to Tampa and I have Coach Dungy that, I went from greatness to greatness.
Yeah.
Having, 2 great coaches. And, it's just a blessing, honestly.
Yeah, I heard someone always say great journeys require great guides, and it's up to you to recognize who those guides are on that journey. And it sounds like you on your journey, you were able to recognize who those people are. Could you give us, like, you said your mom, Choo Choo, your grandmother?
Well, yeah, my mom, my grandmother, Too Vital, my pops, Choo Choo. And then I would just put, it's like 4 guys. Yeah, Charlie, Coach Bowden, Coach Dungy, and Mr. Blank. I mean, even after I left Tampa and went to Atlanta, I mean, he really opened up to me. Yeah. Like I said, I used to go to his home. I would have dinner. We would just sit there and talk about life and talk about community and just the impact of things I wanted to do. So he understood and saw something different in me at an early point in my life while I was still playing for the Falcons. So, I mean, having those individuals that can impact you and give you guidance and some direction. And, I can ask some questions. And it wasn't like it was nothing crazy. I could have just asked the question. It was like, hey, this is what I think you should do, or this is what I would do, and such. And it's mad respect. And I'm thankful.
You had a hell of a career, man. I'm a fan. I thought I knew you, but I even know you more now. Like, I appreciate the story and you pouring in us, and just I learned a little bit more about you.
Well, just so you know, I got over 15,000 yards of total offense. I don't think people understand that, but I'm only 37 yards shy of 11,000 rushing. Now, just imagine if I could have got some more carries. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I mean, I'm not bitter at all. Doing my keeping score. Yeah. Well, man.
I love that.
Warrick, man, I'm so grateful to have you here, man. I'm so grateful we got to spend this time with you and you coming back and checking on us. I really, really enjoyed this, and this is going to be a great episode. And me and Peanut talk about it all the time, how much we have thoroughly enjoyed getting to do this podcast, because we get to talk to guys like you that we grew up watching, that we're huge fans of, and that literally, when you come in here, you treat us just like another younger brother. And you openly and honestly answer all of our candid questions, and you just shoot it to us straight. And so many people love hearing your story. We've heard it from the outside, and now we really get to pull it all back and get it from the horse's mouth, man. So really appreciate you, man. You're an awesome human being. And everything you represent out of Baton Rouge, it's beautiful. Red stick.
Big raggedy.
I call it red stick, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we call it the big raggedy.
The big raggedy.
Come on, man. He don't listen. Come on.
I'm with it, man. So I'm from Alabama. I don't claim Baton Rouge nor Louisiana. So.
Oh, well, no, this is the boot. This the boot now.
Yeah,
People say, I'm from the boot. Like, what are you talking about? The boot? Louisiana looks like the boot.
It does look just like a boot.
They don't know.
From the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't know. They don't know.
Man, thank you for all of our listeners, and especially Warrick for coming by, stopping by, man. All of our listeners, viewers, wherever you pick up your podcast, make sure you give us a 5-star rating, review, click follow. Leave a couple comments. Tell a friend to do what, Peanut?
Tell a friend, and make sure you check us out on the
NFL YouTube channel. It's a channel or page?
NFL YouTube page.
There we go. You know
I'll
what
say
it is,
page.
man.
I'll disagree with the NFL YouTube page.
iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Thank you, man. It's been an honor. Peanut, man, get us up out of here, man. This was a special one.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Peanut Tillman. That's Roman Corduroy Harper. And this is the NFL Players Second X podcast, and our guy, Warrick Dunn.
Yes, sir.
5-time Walter Payton Man of the Award winner.
Yes, sir.
Hey, y'all, we out. Appreciate y'all tuning in.